What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of CNC. It's episode number 31, and look at our fixtures for February as well. Well, we have got probably the biggest episode of the series today. Bayern Munich away at the Allianz, Liverpool in the first leg of the Champions League round of 16, Stuttgart 3 points behind in second, then we close out with Borussia Dortmund as well. Not to mention Schalke and FC Köln as well. So yeah, huge month of February. Probably the biggest episode of the series so far, as we aim to stay top of the table and get a solid first leg in our first ever Champions League knockout round as well. So on the back of the big win against Leverkusen by 3-0 at the Bayern Arena, taking on Schalke here back in Dresden. The last home game we had was the 1-1 draw against Wolfsburg. And of course we've been caught up by Stuttgart now. They're only 3 points behind. Bayern are only 5 points behind as well. So really needed to win this game and get our second win in 3. Took the lead early through Daphne, loved the guy to pieces, man, for Schalke at the bar, and they really responded after going a goal down as well. Couldn't really stop them coming forward. Every time they came on the offensive, I was looking pretty shaky at the back. Arangui's made it 1-1 right before the hour mark, and the goal was coming as well, no less than they deserved, as they made it 1-1 and found the leveller. So still tied at 1-1, couldn't afford another slip up here at home, and our second draw in 3. And with 90 minutes to go, still tied at 1-1. Daphne storms down the left-hand side. I tell you, man, this guy is like a big game player, you know, seriously. I get this guy in my starting 11 when I feel like I need someone I can trust. You've always got those players you can trust, you know, and of course Gadikli has come on leaps and bounds in the past 2 years, and as we know has the exciting prospect tag, great strike partner alongside Ramsey Dubois, leading the way right now in the race for the assist title. But Daphne, there's something about Daphne, man, like seriously, season 1 OG, he's just the guy that I can trust in those sort of big games, man. I know will come good, he certainly did there. 2 on the final score, and a big win over Schalke following into the game with the Allianz against Bayern Munich away, where of course we know it's a generic stadium in the game. I might be wrong about this, you guys have to correct me if I am indeed wrong, but is it because Bayern now have the licensing with PES and therefore their stadium is in PES, or have they just lost it? Have people just lost it altogether? I don't know, someone have to tell me what the actual answer is, but I think it's because it's in PES now. Same with Barcelona stadium too, but I might be wrong, I'm not entirely sure. Still, Bayern Munich away, massive game here as we're coming for their crown, and right now still top of the table. Hit the post early onto the game through Felix Agu bending one from the left-hand side. In the second half, after still being deadlocked at 0-0, game was looking very, very slow, very, very tedious to be honest, not much going on, but after I surrendered possession cheaply trying to play out from the back, Bayern would get gifted the first goal of the game and make it 1-0 through Macia. So poor from me, really, really poor, and I had to take the blame for that one. For the second goal, as you can see, 22 minutes to go, couldn't really do much about this one. Leon jacked Goretzka. Leon Goretzka, man. Did you guys see the picture of him holding, I think it was the Champions League last season, I think it was, in the dressing room, his top off? That dude, seriously, I need his workout routine, I need his meal plans. I don't know how on earth he got that kind of body, man, because I don't remember Goretzka being like that at Schalke, but goodness gracious me, he has had a body transformation. He's jacked nowadays. Anyway, he banged in the second goal in a 2-0 loss there away at the Allianz against Bayern. They're not going to give up on their title. They're not going to give up their crown to us easily, and yeah, no real surprise, lost that game by 2-0 there. I still feel, even though we are top, it's still going to be incredibly hard to hold off Bayern Munich. They are a far better side than us, but even despite the loss there, we do remain on top for now. But how much longer after a bit of a shaky patch of form? For the following game here, this would be the first leg of the Champions League round of 16 at home to Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp going back to Germany takes on here. 15 minutes in, conceded that dreaded away goal. I always talk about it. Those away goals, so frustrating to concede. Just couldn't get the ball clear there as Fabinho turned in the rebound. But 31 minutes in, still down by a goal. Picked a very strong lineup for the game, of course, even though we are really, really, really big underdogs, and we had a much more winnable game on the Bundesliga on the weekend. Still wanted to give my all in this game and see if I could shock Liverpool, and we'll get back on the all terms as well. 33 minutes in, Ramsey Dubois, the captain, finding our leveller and firing in the equaliser to make it 1-1, and that was how the game will finish as well. So not a bad result there against the Reds. Obviously, if you remember, in the group stage we had Man City, and we didn't lose to them in either of the games. They're the holders of the competition in the game, and we drew 0-0 at the Etihad and 1-1 in Dresden. So once again, taking on one of the big boys in England, and of course Europe as well, and getting a very solid result. So going back to Anfield, as we know, we will need to score in the northwest of England, but still in a tie, and it goes to show you that whilst we are the newcomers in the Champions League, we're certainly here on merit. So 1-1 the final score, not a bad result against Liverpool despite conceding the away goal. But for the following game here, no wins in our last two, taking on Stuttgart here right now in second place in the table. Here at Dresden, had to make sure we returned to winning ways in this game. A draw would not do. We needed all three. Hit the woodwork very early on into the game, and then 12 minutes in, this was such a frustrating goal. You can see, what is it about tackling in this year's FIFA that makes them so lackluster? Cannot understand it for the life of me, whether you press the stand tackle button or whether you just stand there and try and anticipate where the opponent is going to run into. Tackling in this year's FIFA, it's like a dead art. It's not a dying art, it's a dead art, seriously. It's just so infuriating how half-hearted tackles are in this year's FIFA, and how every single bounce always seems to go back to the opponent forward. So yeah, Stuttgart will get in front. We would find a leveller in the first half, and then 6 minutes after the restart, still tied at 1-1. Oh, I thought I messed this up here. Ramsey-Bar going one-on-one. I don't know whether I was put off by the snow, I'm not entirely sure, but for some reason I just stopped and turned around, thankfully got it right, and Ramsey-Bar gets our second goal of the game to make it 2-1 and complete the turnaround as the comeback kids do it once again, trailing and then leading. So 2-1 Dresden following a really cringeworthy celebration. 2-1 in front for the first time in the game, and then 62 minutes in. Gadikli, this guy has really improved since we signed him from Bayer Leverkusen. Much more reliable source of goals now, makes it 3-1, gives us a 2-goal cushion right after the restart, and this is what Dynamo Dresden are all about. Yes, our defending at times, I should say my defending at times, can be really weak, but when going forward we are just absolutely unstoppable. So 3-1 Dresden, and then 5 minutes before the break, what a great ball by Gadikli to roll through Albert Simon, and our playmaker makes it 4-1. I mentioned it before, since coming into the Bundesliga, our number 8 hasn't actually been that amazing. Like, his productivity has gone down in terms of goals and assists per game, but he's still a really decent player when he needs to be at times. And I think one of the reasons why I'm not getting him as many goals and assists is because since bringing in Felix Agu and the development of Julian Gattal on the right, who, as we know, has just come from nowhere to emerge as one of the stars here, I don't go through the middle as much. You'll notice a lot I do go down the left and the right hand side. I think that's maybe one of the reasons why. It's not the fact that Simon isn't that good, it's just that I'm now favouring going down the flanks as opposed to centering my play through the middle. So regardless, big 4-1 win there against Stuttgart to give us some breathing room in the race for the title. And then for the following game here, FC Köln away from home. Mentioned this before, I love their stadium so much, man. Absolutely love their stadium. It's so cool. One of the sickest in the game. And 15 minutes in, we took the lead for a sick goal as well. Ramsey-Bar going coast to coast then and chipping Timo Horn as he finds the far corner. Not a surprise though, mentioned this before, whilst the goal was absolutely sick as he outpaced everyone and then dinked into the far corner. Chip goals in this year's FIFA, or chip shots I should say, are just so OP. It's something I think EA do need to look on, because it was the same last year as well. Like, chip shots, very rarely will they go off target, especially wide of the post. If you get too much power on it, they might go over, but for the most part they pretty much always hit the target, and if you get the trajectory right, they'll normally loop over the goalkeeper and find the back of the net. So yeah, got ourselves in front there for Ramsey-Bar. Köln would find themselves a leveller, and with 10 minutes to go, it was looking like it was going to be another slip up in what has been quite an inconsistent run of form here for Dresden. But when you need a hero, I've said it before, when you need someone to step up, you look for your leader, you often look for your captain, and you look for your star man. Ramsey-Bar scores both goals in the game, wins it for us with 9 minutes to go, and picks up a big 3 points there away at the fabulous FC Köln stadium. So yeah, 2-1 there, and a big victory as we stay top of the table. And for our final game of February, massive games in today's episode here. Borussia Dortmund coming to take us on. Last year, of course, as we know, they had a really poor season in the game. I don't know why, but they were well off the pace and ended up finishing outside the European places, I believe. But this year, much better, sitting in the top 4 right now. So taking on Dortmund here in Dresden. Felt pretty confident into the game, because the one thing I noticed before the game, you might have noticed it too, is that when I showed the team management screen and the setup before the game, they had so many players with really poor stamina, whereas my boys are really fit. So I felt pretty confident we could win this game and break them down gradually. We were the far better team from start to finish really, and 5 minutes after the restart scored the only goal of the game. Felix Agu, one of my favourite, if not my favourite signings of this series, scoring the only goal of the game there, 1-0 Dresden. Another clean sheet for Sasha as well, always good to see. And after a bit of a better patch of form, we now open up a 7-point gap on Stuttgart and 8 clear of Bayern Munich as well. I think we're 11 clear of Dortmund after the win there in Force. They're not out of it yet, but I would definitely say destiny firmly in our own hands as we come into the business end of this season. But that was this episode of CNC, guys. So big thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, and if you have done, please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of CNC. Very soon.